Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a comparison of the Wolfbox Tire Inflator, and we're going to be comparing it to two top-rated tire inflators found on Amazon. That way you can determine which tire inflator fits your needs best, and hopefully by the end of this video you can determine which one is a better product. We'll start with a general comparison of all three tire inflators, and then we'll see how long it takes to inflate my BMW 275/35/22 from 25 psi to 35 psi, and we'll see how many times each inflator can do this. Then we'll see how long it takes the inflator to inflate the BMW tire from 0 psi to 35 psi. And then for the final test, we'll see if these inflators have what it takes to inflate the Jeep 37-inch tire from 0 psi to 30 psi. And we'll make sure to monitor all temps while doing these tests. And keep in mind, all of these tire inflators can be found on Amazon for around $100, and I'll put the links in the video description. So we've got the Airmoto Smart Air Pump, and we've got the Fanttik X8 Apex. So let's go ahead and start with unboxing. We'll first start with the Airmoto Smart Air Pump. The Airmoto is a tire inflator that offers a 4,000 milliamp battery with an airflow rate of 15 to 18 liters per minute. The maximum pressure is 120 psi, and it also comes with a Type-C charging cable. This tire inflator comes with a waterproof storage bag, and on the inflator itself has got an internal storage for the air hose. The USB-C is for input only, so this cannot be used as a power bank to charge your phone. This tire inflator comes with an auto off when the desired pressure is reached. This tire inflator is easy to use and easy to set the desired tire pressure. And the Airmoto comes with a 1-year warranty. So let's go ahead and unbox the Fanttik. The Fanttik X8 Apex is a tire inflator that offers a 7,800 milliamp hour battery and a flow rate of 28 to 32 liters per minute. This pump has a maximum pressure of 150 psi, and it has a 5 amp Type-C USB charging input. This tire inflator can be used as a battery pack to charge phones and other accessories, but it only offers a 5 volt 2 amp USB-A output. Just like the Airmoto, this inflator cannot be used while it's charging, and the USB charger is sold separately, although both come with the cables. And again, just like the Airmoto, the Fanttik is easy to change the PSI settings and then go through the settings in the actual inflator. This has an auto off feature when the desired PSI is reached. The Fanttik comes with a 1-year warranty. Let's go ahead and unbox the Wolfbox Tire inflator. The Wolfbox Tire Inflator has a 12,000 milliamp battery, and despite having such a large battery, it also has a connection to power the inflator through the 12-volt cigarette lighter, and that way if the battery runs out, you can still air up your tires. This 12-volt cigarette lighter can also be used to charge the tire inflator. The airflow rate of the Wolfbox Tire Inflator is 58 liters per minute, or 2.05 CFM. That is nearly double the Fanttik and triple the Airmoto. Wolfbox says this is because they use a double-cylinder pump where other inflators use a single-cylinder pump. We will see if that shows to be true during our tests. The Wolfbox Tire Inflator comes with a USB-C input, and it can be used for the output also, so you can use this as a battery bank to charge your phone and accessories. When using this as a battery pack, you can charge your phone and accessories faster with up to 45 watts of charging power. This tire inflator does include a carrying case, but just like the other two inflators, it does not include the charging block, only the power cable. Just like the other inflators, changing the required PSI is easy, but with the Wolfbox, the screen is bigger, so it is a little bit easier to see. And lastly, the Wolfbox comes with a 2-year warranty, but on the Wolfbox official website, you can extend this to 3 years. Next, we're going to compare the decibel or loudness of each compressor, but we'll first start with my garage compressor. Next, we're going to check to see if these can be used as a battery bank. The Airmoto does have a USB Type-C on it, but this is only for charging. You cannot use this to charge your phone or as a battery pack. The Fanttik does have a USB Type-C, and that is for charging only, but it does have a USB Type-A for charging your phone. The Wolfbox also, it has a USB Type-C, and this same port is used for input and output. And this shows the phone would be fully charged in 1 hour and 2 minutes. And plugging it into the Wolfbox, this shows super fast charging, and it says it'll be charged in 35 minutes. Let's also see if these have an auto off feature. So we'll leave them running and we will set a timer. Alright, So this test is going to be to see how well you can see in the dark. See if you can fill up a tire in the dark. So I'm able to see what I'm doing with this little guy. I can remove the air and fill up the tire. All right, next we got the Fanttik. Flashlight seems a little bit brighter. Again, I'm able to see what I'm doing. This hose is a little bit harder to get on. But I am able to see what I'm doing. I can air up this tire with the flashlight. And there's the light for the Wolfbox. It's got a little bit of a tighter beam, not as wide. This flashlight, I can still see what I'm doing. It's a real wide light on here. A little bit brighter, wider view. Wolfbox, not as wide of a light, but it does have a nicer spotlight. So I would say overall, all three lights are bright. Probably the Fanttik has the brighter light out of the three of them. Alright, so next let's test out the time it takes to inflate my BMW tire. This is a 275, 35, 22, and we will inflate it from 25 psi to 35 psi. And this can be used to simulate airing up your tires for the winter time. So I have a digital gauge here, and then we'll compare it to the gauge of the tire inflator. I've removed the valve cord on the actual wheel, but I kept the valve cord here. That way there's not any increased air resistance. And then I have a dump valve here. So it'll pump in here, and it'll go into this hose right into here. As you can see, the valve core is removed. I will make sure all of the batteries on all of these tire inflators are all at 100%. So the Airmoto stopped after 7 minutes and 23 seconds. 35 psi on this gauge, but on this gauge it's 35.7. So it ran a little bit past 35 psi. So let's check the temperature. The pump was 95 degrees, the hose was 155, and the valve stem was 90. So let's see how many times we can fill up this tire on one battery charge. Alright, so it didn't quite fill up a full third time. Did 2 full times, and then the third time it filled up to 30 psi. Not bad for such a little tire inflator. So let's check the temperature. The pump was 108 degrees, the hose was 185, and the valve stem was 94. So now we're going to do the same test with the Fanttik tire inflator, and the battery is 100% charged. The Fanttik ended up stopping a little bit early, so we extended the test a little bit longer until our digital gauge said 35 psi. And at 2 minutes and 36 seconds, the tire was aired up to 35 psi. Not bad for the Fanttik. So let's go ahead and check the temperature. The pump was 98 degrees, the hose was 97, and the valve stem was 81. So let's see how many times the Fanttik can fill up this tire in one battery charge. Before the Fanttik died, it was able to fill the tire from 25 to 35 psi 7 times, but on the 8th try, it only filled it up to 30.6 psi, so we'll call that 7.5 times. So let's go ahead and check the temperature. The pump got to 124 degrees, the hose got to 106, and the valve stem is 89 degrees. Now we're going to see how long it takes the Wolfbox tire inflator to inflate this tire from 25 to 35 psi. And the Wolfbox took 1 minute and 44 seconds, so let's check the temperature. The pump got to 87 degrees, the hose got to 119, and the valve stem was 80. So let's see how many times the Wolfbox can fill this tire on one battery charge. The Wolfbox did a good job at 9 complete fill-ups, and on the 10th try, it filled the tire to 32.9 psi. So almost 10 complete fill-ups. Now let's go ahead and check the temperature of the Wolfbox. The body of the inflator got to 124 degrees, the hose got to 242 degrees, and the valve stem got to 118. One thing that's special about this Wolfbox tire inflator comes with a 12-volt outlet. So if you run into a tough situation, you can plug this in and you can fill your tire up the rest of the way even when the battery's dead. So now we're going to remove all of the air from the BMW tire and we're going to see how long each inflator takes to fill it up to 35 psi, starting with the Airmoto. And all batteries will be charged to 100% and the temperature in the garage is 80 degrees. The Airmoto ran for about 21 minutes before it shut off after the battery died. It pumped the tire up to 32.3 psi, which is not bad for such a small tire inflator. Let's go ahead and check the temperature. The pump got to 118 degrees, the hose got to 182, and the valve stem got to 105. Yeah, it feels warm. That would burn your hand. This doesn't feel too bad. Unfortunately, it was not able to fill up the tire, but I would say for how small it is, it did do a pretty good job. And now we're going to do the same test with the Fanttik. So the Fanttik took 8 minutes and 33 seconds to fill the BMW tire from 0 to 35 psi. The actual reading of the tire pressure is 34.3, so not bad. Let's check the temperature. The body got to 119 degrees, the hose got to 132, and the valve stem got to 97. That is not too hot at all, so that's nice. This whole hose I can touch, and it's just a little warm on the back, but not too hot at all. And now we will do the same test with the Wolfbox tire inflator. To get to 35 psi took 5 minutes and 34 seconds, and that's from 0 to 35 on this BMW tire. The gauge reads 34.4 and the Wolfbox stopped at 35 on its own gauge. So let's check the temperature. The Wolfbox pump got to 94 degrees, the hose got to 157, and the valve stem got to 100 degrees. So it is not too hot at all. No problem grabbing and twisting it. Up here it does get a little toasty. This is hot. This will burn your hand if you hold it too long. But this is not too hot at all. So now we're going to test out these tire inflators with my Jeep Wrangler tire. This is a 37 by 1250 17 tire, so 37-inch tire. And we're going to go from 0 psi and see how long it takes to inflate it to 30 psi. So we'll go ahead and start this test again with the Airmoto. After 15 minutes of continuous use, we will stop the compressor and let it cool down for 15 minutes, and then we'll continue the test. So after 15 minutes with the Airmoto, looks like it's pumped up to 9 psi. So we're gonna give it 15 minutes and then we'll come back out and we'll finish pumping up the rest, or we'll go for as long as the battery lasts.
A few moments later.
The Airmoto was able to run a total of 26 minutes and it pumped up the Jeep tire from 0 psi to 14.8 psi. And then it stopped once the battery ran out. And that is not too hot. You could take that off right away, no issues. Down here it's a little warm, probably let this cool down for a couple minutes, but the pump itself is not too hot. So let's go ahead, we will get started. So we let the Fanttik run for 15 minutes and we were able to get it up to 21.6 psi. So we're gonna let it cool down for 15 minutes and then we'll come back up and finish it up.
2,000 years later.
So the Fanttik was able to fill the Jeep tire from 0 psi to 30 psi in 21 minutes and 56 seconds. And that is not too hot. This would not burn my hand. So let's see how much longer we can use this compressor before the battery dies. So the Fanttik made it all the way to 23 minutes and 24 seconds and it pumped the Jeep tire up to 31.4 psi. Let's go on to the Wolfbox. The Wolfbox Tire Inflator ran for 13 minutes and 25 seconds before it automatically shut off because it aired the tire up to 30 psi. Okay, this is not too hot to grab, it's warm. This would burn you. And that would burn you. Wolfbox does state in their owner's manual to be careful when removing the air hose to avoid burns. Cooling time is recommended. So now we're going to wait for 15 minutes and then we're going to see how much more air we can put in this tire.
I'll be back.
Alright, so the Wolfbox was able to go for 15 minutes and 42 seconds before the battery shut it off, and it filled the Jeep tire to 34.8 psi. And then the last test we're going to do is using the Smittybilt air compressor that's mounted in the back of the Jeep. We're going to see how long that takes to inflate the tire. For this test, I have the Jeep on the battery charger. It took about 5 minutes for the Smittybilt compressor to air up the tire from 0 to 30 psi, so let's go ahead and check the temperature of it. The hose coming off the compressor got to 186, the body got to 118, and this fitting here got to 118. And that concludes all of the tests of these 3 tire inflators. So thanks for watching my review and my comparison against these 3 tire inflators. Let's go over the final results of all of the different tests we performed. In this first test, we aired up the BMW from 25 psi to 35 psi. The Wolfbox did this in 1 minute and 44 seconds. The Fanttik did this in 2 minutes and 36 seconds. And the Airmoto did this in 7 minutes and 23 seconds. See, the pump of the Wolfbox got to 87 degrees, the Fanttik got to 98, and the Airmoto got to 95. The Wolfbox was almost a minute faster than the Fanttik and almost 6 minutes faster than the Airmoto. So let's take a look at the times if we were airing up 4 tires. If you're using the Wolfbox to air up 4 tires, it would take only 6 minutes and 56 seconds. If you're using the Fanttik, it would take 10 minutes and 24 seconds. And if you're using the Airmoto, it would take 29 minutes and 32 seconds, and that's if the battery lasted that long. I would say that's quite a big difference when you're airing up more than 1 tire. So now let's look at the time it took to inflate the BMW tire from 0 to 35 psi. The Wolfbox was able to do this in 5 minutes and 32 seconds and it got to 94 degrees. The Fanttik was able to do this in 8 minutes and 33 seconds and it got to 119 degrees. And unfortunately, the Airmoto did not have what it takes to pump up the tire to 35 psi under 1 charge. But it did pump up the tire to 32.3 psi in 20 minutes and 50 seconds and it got to 118 degrees. Lastly, let's look at the results of airing up the Jeep tire from 0 psi to 30 psi. The Smittybilt was able to do this in 5 minutes and it got to 118 degrees. The Wolfbox did this in 13 minutes and 25 seconds and got to 110 degrees. The Fanttik did this in 21 minutes and 56 seconds and it got to 104 degrees. And the Airmoto was unable to do it before the battery died, but it did air up the tire to 14.8 psi. It took 26 minutes and 4 seconds to do this and it got to 103 degrees. Because the Smittybilt is not a battery-operated compressor, we won't include that in the final results, so overall the Wolfbox was 8 minutes and 31 seconds faster than the Fanttik. And just to see how much more these compressors had to give, we pushed the test a little bit further. The Wolfbox was able to air up the tire to 34.8 psi before the battery died, and the Fanttik was able to go to 31.4 before the battery died. So to sum up the test of a 37-inch tire, the Wolfbox and Fanttik would only be able to fill 1 tire from 0 psi to 30 psi, but the Wolfbox would be able to do this 8 minutes and 30 seconds faster. Overall, I would say all 3 tire inflators are good products, but I think there's a clear winner here. Thanks for watching my review on these tire inflators, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And again, thanks for watching.